Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, October 18th. One more night till the Jaguars take on the Saints in New Orleans. The Jaguars are 1-point road underdogs in New Orleans this Thursday night. The Jags, though, they are 4-2 coming off 3 straight wins. The Saints, 3-3 losers of 3 of the last 4 games. Both teams are dealing with injury situations on a short week. Obviously, both teams played on Sunday, so both teams have quite the injury list. Lots of big question marks. None bigger than Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars, who's dealing with a minor knee injury, suffered late in the game on an inconsequential play against the Indianapolis Colts this past Sunday. But you've also got questions with Tyson Campbell, who is unlikely to play for the Jaguars at cornerback, their top corner. Brandon Sheriff, their top interior offensive lineman, dealing with an ankle injury. He has not participated in practice yet this week. Zay Jones, Jaguars receiver, dealing with a knee injury as well. So is Walker Little, their starting left guard right now. So the Jaguars have a bunch of big injury questions. But like I said, the Saints have a long list of injuries as well. They have 4 starters that have not practiced yet this week. So both of these teams, they're going to have to be dealing with some attrition in this short week game. Thursday night game, prime time. Should be a lot of fun, though. New Orleans, an electric environment to play football. The Superdome, one of the loudest venues in the NFL. So the Jaguars, they're going to have to be dealing with the noise, the crowd, the energy, but should be a good one. Starting with the Jaguars offense versus the Saints defense. The Saints are 7th in defensive DVOA. They have a very good defense overall. They are very solid both against the pass and pretty good against the run as well. I think they're a little bit more of a pass-first defense, right? I think they're a little bit more geared up to stop the pass than they are the run, but they're no slouches against the run. The Jaguars are 13th in offensive DVOA. They've been climbing up the ranks the last few weeks, playing a lot better football, again, during this 3-game winning streak. The Saints defense overall, it really is awesome when you think about schematically and talent-wise. They're allowing 16 points per game. Really, really impressive, right? A team in the modern era allowing only 16 points per game, I think is it's impressive, regardless of who you've played so far. And they have not played the most prolific offenses for the most part in the NFL so far this year, but still doing a really good job. They play very aggressively up front. They will heat you up with some pressure looks, play a lot of man defense, mix in some zone and combo coverages as well. They have the guys to get the job done. Cameron Jordan has been one of the most underrated players in this league for a really long time, in my opinion, and Carl Granderson has really come into his own as well. These 2 guys, edge rushers for the New Orleans Saints, they're really, really good, and they have some good interior defenders over there too. Demario Davis, one of the best veteran linebackers in this league, perhaps no one better, and you're going to see 2 of the best middle linebackers in the game on Thursday night, with Demario Davis for the Saints, with Foye Oluokun for the Jaguars. And Foye, he's played his fair share of games in New Orleans as a former Atlanta Falcon. But getting back to the Saints on the defensive side of the ball, Pete Werner, he plays next to Demario Davis quite a bit, and he's a talented kid out of Ohio State as well. 2nd or 3rd year for him. Marshawn Lattimore, fantastic press man, do-it-all corner. He and Calvin Ridley are going to be duking it out in this one. Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May, very good safety duo. It's just a really talented, well-coached defense. I think that the talent fits the scheme. I think vice versa. But guess what? The Jaguars offense, they're very good too. They're very talented. They're very well coached in their own right, and they have a damn good quarterback, a lot of good skill position players. To me, this is the best matchup on either side of the ball. The Jaguars offense versus the Saints defense, I think, really is going to show where the Jaguars offense is at right now, quite frankly, as long as Trevor Lawrence is able to play in this game. And the expectation is that Trevor Lawrence will play in this game, did not suffer a major knee injury. The team, CJ Beathard, the backup quarterback, he said yesterday that he did take most of the first string reps, but that he still expects Trevor Lawrence to start this game and play this game. And every indication so far is that that will be the case unless there's any setbacks. Trevor also said yesterday that it's progressing quickly and he's feeling a lot better than he expected at this point in the week. So the Jaguars, their offensive line, it's coming off their best performance of the year. There are injuries that they've been dealing with, as we mentioned, but they should be competitive against a good Saints front. The Saints' 2 best defensive linemen are Cameron Jordan and Carl Granderson. They do align primarily on the edge, and both of the Jaguars tackles are playing pretty good football right now. When you talk about Anton Harrison, he's been improving rapidly as a rookie right tackle, a big test for him this week, and a different sort of test than you're usually facing with Cam Jordan being just a big, nasty, physical veteran lineman. And obviously Cam Robinson's back. He's playing good football as well. The Saints, as I mentioned, they're pretty good against the run, but really, really good against the pass. And they turn you over at a high clip, intercepting a lot of passes. They've got 8 interceptions, the same amount as the Jaguars. So this is a team that if you're not careful with the football, they will rob it from you. But looking at the Jaguars offense, I think that they need to get Travis Etienne going. I think he needs to be exactly what he has been for them as of late. That's a slippery, explosive a runner that runs through contact, great contact balance for Travis Etienne, and just gets creative with the ball in his hands and finds pay dirt. That's what he's been doing for the Jaguars lately. I think that's what he needs to continue to do. The Saints, when they give you man looks, take advantage with Kirk, Ingram, and Ridley when you can. But if they're running a lot of man coverage, that also means that Trevor Lawrence could have some rushing lanes. I'm curious to see how that will look. Will he run at all with the knee injury? Will he be slowed down by that? It's all up in the air right now, and we will find out tomorrow night. So looking at the Jaguars defense versus the Saints offense, the Jaguars, they're 8th in defensive DVOA. The Saints are 20th in offensive DVOA. So on paper, this matchup on this side of the ball, not quite as exciting as the Jaguars offense versus the Saints defense. But I still think that the Saints have plenty of weaponry on the offensive side of the ball to threaten you. But look, take away their game against the Patriots where they had a 34-point explosion, and the Patriots might be the worst team in the NFL right now. The Saints are averaging 15 points per game outside of that one. On paper, there's no question the Jaguars defense has the advantage here. But as I mentioned, the Saints, they have skill position guys. Chris Olave, one of the best young receivers in this league. He can really get deep and beat you over the top. Michael Thomas, slant king. He does a little bit more than slants, and he's a very good receiver still in his own right when he's fully healthy, and he's been playing pretty well. Rashid Shaheed is an explosive play waiting to happen. Alvin Kamara is still there. A lot of guys to deal with again, and likely no Tyson Campbell for the Jaguars, who's dealing with a hamstring injury. So that's definitely something that the Saints can look to take advantage of. The Jaguars missing their top corner, but the Saints, like I said, they have been inconsistent. They do not look prepared on a weekly basis offensively. They do not look cohesive. It just doesn't feel like there's a clear direction for this offense, right? With Derek Carr being added to the mix. But if there was a week to try to attack the Jaguars defense and there's no Tyson Campbell, I think it's this week, because they're already down Christian Braswell. They're already down Gregory Jr. So Buster Brown is probably going to be taking most of the reps for Tyson Campbell. And for me, if you're a Jaguars coach, if you're a Jaguars fan, that is worrisome. I think Mike Caldwell is doing a fantastic job this year with this defense. Will he be able to do enough to mitigate the fact that you don't have Tyson Campbell out there? Make sure to avoid Buster Brown being in single coverage with Chris Olave deep down the field, things of that nature. If they're not able to scheme that up and avoid that, then the Jaguars defense could be in trouble with some big explosive plays down the field. But they've got a lot of talent around Buster Brown on that defensive secondary and on that defense as a whole. Again, the Jaguars defense has been leading the way for the Jags so far in 2023. For me this week, I think it starts up front with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, Roy Robertson Harris, DeJuan Smoot. Don't expect Devon Hamilton back, even though he's been practicing in full. You never know when he'll be back. But I expect the Jaguars defensive front to really bring it in this game, because they know Derek Carr cannot stand to get hit. And they've done that in the past. They've really bothered Derek Carr when they played him with the Raiders. And look, this New Orleans Saints offensive line, they were expected to be playing better than they are. They've dealt with some injuries, but they're susceptible right now in pass protection. They're one of the worst offensive lines in pass pro right now. And yes, we have said that before, but the majority of the time the Jaguars defense is lined up on the field this year, they have been able to take advantage of offensive weaknesses. And I think that the Jaguars need to be able to do that in this game, and I think they will be able to do that. You've still got a ton of Jaguars on the defensive side of the ball playing really, really good ball right now. And Mike Caldwell, again, doing a fantastic job mixing up coverages, mixing up fronts, showing offenses different things, and pulling the right levers at the right time. Looking at special teams, Saints kicker, he missed twice last week, had another miss a couple weeks ago. We'll see how he looks in this one. The Saints have been punting quite a lot. Not sure how effective their punter is, but he has been getting the reps in. That's for damn sure. Rashid Shaheed is their returner. He's really dangerous, as I mentioned before, an explosive play waiting to happen. The Jaguars on special teams, they've been firing on all cylinders since their loss to the Texans. Brandon McManus hasn't missed a kick since then. Jamal Agnew has been doing his thing, had a really big return against the Colts last week to kind of damper a little bit of their momentum late in that game. Logan Cook playing well. The Gunners are playing really well. Daniel Thomas leading the team in tackles on special teams. It's been really good, like I said, since the loss to the Houston Texans. And my final thoughts here, again, Trevor Lawrence is the biggest storyline on either side of the ball for either team. I think if he's able to play it dramatically, changes the prediction for this game. If he's not able to play, same thing. CJ Beathard, do you like your chances with him? Personally, for me, I wouldn't count the Jaguars out necessarily if CJ Beathard has to play, because to me, this looks like a low-scoring affair anyways. The Saints have not allowed a lot of points this year. They have not scored a lot of points this year. So I think that, you could hang in there with CJ Beathard, but your offense certainly isn't going to be quite as explosive or fun to watch with CJ Beathard manning it versus Trevor Lawrence. But again, it's looking like Trevor Lawrence is going to play in this game. How effective will he be? Does he have his mobility? Is he able to take advantage of man coverage looks where you've got everybody flying down the field? Can he pick up a yard or two here, 5-10 yards with his legs? Will he be willing to? Will he be allowed to? We have no idea how that's going to look. I do think the Jaguars are a better coached team overall. I think they have a better quarterback, and I think they're just a team playing at a higher overall level than the Saints are right now. I really do. But the Saints defense, it is about as good as it gets. Their offense has the talent to do some things, but they just have not looked like they have the chemistry, cohesion, or direction on the offensive side of the ball so far this year. And we will get into bold predictions, some keys to victory as well tomorrow morning. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. You can hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, notification bell so you don't miss a show. You can check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.